Hello.
Hello.
Hi
I'm here
everyone.
with
We're
the amazing
back
Yocheved.
with live. I'm liking this very much. I haven't done this in a while, so
Thank
I
you for
really
coming.
missed it.
I made her come. I said, you have to come. We both have a really good friend who is going through a really big challenge and actually titled this Fears and Challenges. So this is for you. And you know who you are. Anyway. I really just, I needed Yocheved's powerful, like she has that I'm your teacher, listen to me voice.
Oh my.
You know you do.
I do.
I don't have that voice, even with my own children. But thank God, God crossed our paths, and I continue to harass her. Do you have friends like that? Just call them up, and you're like, I need you. So I said, come over, let's chat. And she did. She stopped everything. She made herself look beautiful again. I mean, she doesn't have to try hard, but you pulled together nice. I'm especially liking your earrings.
Oh, thank you. So it was very nice. Esther called me earlier today. We have this friend that's been having a very rough time. She's going through a challenge, and they decided for us three to go out and have a conversation to just, help this person get through that very challenging time period. And we've all had our fair amount of challenges. I've had mine, Esther had hers, and we decided to...
I didn't have any challenge.
to contribute with our background and how we dealt at the time of the challenge and help this friend out. And after we finished dinner and we talked, Esther decided for me to come over her house so that we can share the feedback that we had with everyone else. Because it seems that many people are going through their own set of challenges. Earlier today, I got a text message in my group. I have a WhatsApp group of a person sharing her story with me. A story where she was pregnant 9 months and a day, gives birth to her child, and her child was born stillborn, which means her child was born pretty much dead. And that's a challenge that nobody should ever undergo at all. Losing a child at any age, whether it's 5 years old or 1 minute old, it's such a devastating challenge. And then to hear that people go through such challenges, and you say to yourself, I'll take my own challenge over anybody else's challenge, because we don't really know what's in store for us. And if we were to choose a challenge, ask God to just give you the challenge that you have, because someone else's challenge is much greater than yours. So with that in mind, I came to Esther, and we wanted to go over certain things that we both learned in the process of talking to our friend earlier today.
Okay. So I want to ask you a question, Yocheved. Sometimes when I go through something, and my close friends know this, especially my parents and my family, not my parents, I'll just get on a phone and share it. And I actually have a large group on Facebook with 2,000 people, and I just will share my problem. And I mean that I do because it's very therapeutic, but I want to ask you how do you deal, or what coping mechanisms can you do when you feel overwhelmed with what you're going through?
So that's a great question, Esther. So my own personal experience, obviously, like I said, we all have our own set of challenges, whether it's with certain family members or with school or with work or in marriage, whatever your challenges can be. And a lot of us are guilty that when we're faced with a challenge, we sometimes get other people involved in the challenge with us. Instead of keeping our challenges to ourselves and being a little bit confidential, talk to one person or two people, but avoid having to publicize all your challenges with so many other people. And the reason for that is your challenges are temporary. And when things are resolved and things are better, you've already spread so much of that garbage, quote unquote, to so many other people.
I like how you said stain, when we spoke about this earlier.
And then, like you said, then we have to go and patch everything back up.
Right, all the visual cues that
and
they
it's so
all
much
have
harder.
Of that situation that you're
if you don't get along with your husband, for example, and you had a really rough time, right? How many of us have that situation? And we call our mother and our mother-in-law and our friend and our sister, and we talk about it. And then we make up with our husband a couple of days later. But in the eyes of others, it's as if our marriage is not at its best because we've shared too much information with everyone else. So we have to be very, very careful who we're
To
sharing the
select.
information
we have to
with,
select the right type of.
and how much information is the right amount of information. We really have to choose our words very, very wisely.
Oh my gosh, I heard recently, I was listening to this speaker. I don't know if he was like some kind of sports coach, and he was talking about the power of your speech and how if you say stupid stuff, like your fears, you literally bring your fears to reality. So he was sharing about this one guy who started basically voicing his fear, and it came true. Like, and he said like there were so many events like this. Saying something negative has like 10 times to 40 times. He said the studies, I don't know which studies these are, I don't know how reliable they are, but even if it's the same amount or 1 times more, saying something negative has momentum.
Well, it's true. Like when your child is coming down the stairs and you say, you're going to fall right now,
Right.
that child ends up falling.
That's a lot.
And
That's
not
true.
necessarily because he would have fallen had you not said it, he
Right.
might have not fallen.
Right.
So sometimes our
Switch
own
it to the positive.
words
Hold on.
will
Stay
bring
safe.
exactly.
As opposed to don't get hit by a car. Say cross carefully.
Also, training your mind to be positive, avoiding fears. Why are people afraid? People are afraid because they take everything in life into their own hands. When you take so much in your life into your own hands, now God says, you want to take everything into your own hands? I'll let you be the boss. But when you throw all your problems to God and you say, God, you gave me that challenge. You got to help me overcome that challenge. You brought me into this world. You got to help me lead this world. You got to help me go through
so
whatever
you're praying,
needs to be.
you're having like moments of silence.
It's not even moments of silence. It's literally saying, I surrender to you. I leave my challenges up to you. Now picture a baby that was just born. Does the baby worry about where the milk will come from, or who's going to feed him, or who's going to change his diaper? The baby just knows to cry, and the mother comes and changes the baby and feeds the baby. The baby doesn't have any worry of who is going to take care of
But
him.
you're not taking ownership of your life when you do that, no? Like surrender. So
You're
you're in a
taking
bad situation.
ownership
You should just surrender.
in the sense of doing your best. You do your best. Whatever else happens is no longer in your control regardless.
So the fear comes when you think like, am I doing my best? So you're afraid, so you do more. So you do more, and you're thinking like, is it enough?
But
Is
the
it
more
enough?
you're doing, the more you think you're in control. But we're not in control.
So what does it mean to do your best? Are you in control or are you not
The
in
best
control?
means you wake up, you pray to God that whatever you do today is what He wants you to do. You do your best means you went to work, you did the best you could do. You went to do shopping, you took care of your kids. You're not going to be a perfect mother at all times, and that's part of life. We're not angels. You go to sleep, you wake up, you're doing the best you can in this world as a human being. Now, certain things are not going to be in your hands. Certain things are out of your control. If you think you're going to run the world, then you're on your own, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring you. You don't know how you're going to cross the street and how you're going to drive to work.
Right, you told me that.
I was driving to work. I was coming from work one time and I was going to my brother-in-law's house. I put in my navigation, and as I was driving, I didn't realize that the street that I was going through is really a one-way street. The street I was supposed to turn into was closed for construction. I'm not familiar with the block. I make a turn on a one-way street. I'm driving 50 miles an hour, thinking it's my way.
God.
And the next thing you know, I get hit on my side because I was going the wrong way.
Oh my God.
I thought I was in control, but I wasn't in control. In my mind, I thought I'm going the right way. But then the miracle happened. When the guy hit my side of the car, I realized at that point that there was a stop sign. There was a red light. 30 cars were waiting on a red light to go straight head on to me.
Oh my God.
I was hit only on the passenger side from the guy going this way. My car was totaled. I had the fire department come take me out of the car.
What?
I had
What
not
was
an
this?
ounce of a scratch because God performed that miracle for me.
Wow.
But the reason I'm sharing this story is because I thought I was in control. I thought I was driving the right way, but I wasn't. Only when I got hit, I realized, hey, I'm going the wrong way. So sometimes, no matter how much we take into our hands and we think we're in control, we are not in control. The end result is God is in control. When we leave everything to Him, He saved my life that day. And not only did He save my life, when the insurance policy came and said, whose fault was it? Well, evidently it's my fault, because the first car on the red light was a cop car. So He witnessed the whole accident. But on the insurance claim, they wrote no fault.
Wow.
So I ended up getting
A new car. That's amazing.
Reimbursed for not going to work. But that's all from God.
Wow.
Had God not been in control of the situation, I wouldn't be where I was. I would have had some physical damages, God forbid. I would have had to pay a big fine for the accident, get points on my car insurance. So we're not in control. So we have to learn how to surrender.
Sometimes you share with people, with one person, like you said, share with one person. And you surrender and all of that. But things don't change right away, right? Like that girl was saying, she wants things to get better. But it's not changing. What do you do then?
If it's not changing, sometimes, again, I'm going to go back. We're not praying hard enough. Now,
I don't know
when we were taught in school,
that you should daven to Hashem. Like,
when we were
what
taught
about
in school,
action?
right? What were we taught in school? I remember this in first grade, clearly. I just came to America. I went to yeshiva. And the first thing they said was, we have to pray for everything. But if our prayers are not getting answered, that means it's not for our best for them to get answered. Because at the end of the day, we don't know why something is happening. Now, how can we answer this question to a lady who prays for her child to get married, and her 30-year-old child ends up dying instead of getting married? How do we answer that? She prayed, but her child died. Not only did he not marry, he passed away. So should this lady give up and say, I'm not praying anymore, God doesn't exist? Instead of rewarding me for all the prayers, He punished me.
Right.
And this is where we just surrender, like I said. We just learn to believe. We don't understand what's going on, but we believe that whatever is going on is just the way it's supposed to be.
Like faith.
That is Emunah. Emunah doesn't mean we're going to understand something. We don't understand. We don't know why we're in this world. Emunah just means we believe that whatever is going on, that's the way it's supposed to be. And we also believe
accepting
that we have the power with our prayers to change something. We also have to know something called hitbodedut. What is that?
Prayer, personal conversation.
To make a half hour a day, to just
like
step
meditation.
out. Exactly. Sometimes I walk down the street in my house, right? I'm just walking from shul to my house. And I literally just walk around the block and I say, thank you, God, for letting me live in this area. Thank you for having all the people I know around me. Thank you that my house is intact. I wake up in the morning every Saturday and I say, thank you, Hashem, that there was no fire overnight.
Once a week,
Yeah, because, with everything that we hear, there was no fire overnight because I have my Oshsavo or my Chulent or whatever else is on. And Hashem is allowing my house to be intact. So when we appreciate what we have, we're going to not focus as much as what we don't have.
And also not focus on what we're afraid of happening.
Right.
We could be afraid that there could be a fire or a sickness.
Right. Fear debilitates us tremendously.
Right.
Tremendously.
Fear causes hysteria.
Fear causes us to fall into anxiety. Anxiety ends up leading us to depression. And what is the worst thing a person can have? Depression. When you're depressed,
because it arrests you from your mission and your growth.
When you're depressed, you're blocking all your channels. You're clogging them so much from accepting
so you don't
everything.
See the purpose in your
Exactly.
life.
You feel useless. You feel like you're being punished. You feel weak. And with that comes other sicknesses. Which brings me to the next conversation that I wanted to have today.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone is really up and about this conversation with this new coronavirus.
I feel like taking out Purell right now, but it's out of stock, so I have Perfume, which is also an antiseptic. It smells delicious, much better than Purell, and it's Dolce & Gabbana. Guys, if you need some sanitary things, you can always use alcohol. You probably want to drink it at this point because
Well, let me go back. You see,
Stressed.
Esther is like really
Getting distracted very quickly. It's like
with
one of those,
coronavirus.
like,
I want everybody
squirrels.
to. I want everybody to know one thing. So
Khaled
went
is a PA in the office in NYP.
to
So.
Burlington today. My husband's probably like, "What? Again?" So I went to Burlington today. I needed something there, and I see the cash registers. The cashiers are working with gloves.
Yeah. Put a like if you've been to a store
And I'm
recently
thinking
and
to
waited
myself,
more than 15 minutes on the line.
How
It's
are
crazy.
these gloves going to protect the people who are counting money? If anybody should be working with gloves, it's me and you. We're the ones at first line seeing all the sick people.
We are.
And I'm not working with gloves when I'm seeing my patients, and I'm not wearing a mask when I see my patients. Yet the people who are in Burlington at
Right.
Costco
Because they're scared
are
of
wearing
corona
gloves
on money.
in an
Because
attempt
money
to
comes from China.
protect themselves. By the way, you can't even say the Chinese are the ones responsible anymore because the first case in New York was a Jewish person. That's another big joke at my
Anti-Semitism
job.
is coming around again.
So my point is, I just want to say we had a big training today. I work at a hospital, and we had a huge training about this coronavirus. First of all, I work with a pulmonologist, and when I told the pulmonologist, how will you determine if one of your patients actually has coronavirus?
This is a respiratory thing, yeah, okay.
He said to me, more than half of my practice has cough, shortness of breath, fevers, chills. And I said, are you worried about this coronavirus? And so far, not a single physician that I've come in contact with is afraid of this virus.
It's true.
So I want everyone to take a step back, relax, and realize
There's
one thing.
too much crazy out there right now.
The flu is just as deadly as the coronavirus.
It's more. The flu is much more.
Right.
Because there's more prevalence and incidence.
The thing is, the flu has been around for too long, and coronavirus is something new.
It's unknown. I think the fact that we don't know about it.
It's been around.
Coronavirus.
When you take your,
really
you know, like those disinfecting wipes, they actually have coronavirus listed there.
Oh.
So it's not a new disease.
So I have to say this. I work in the endoscopy suite by pain management in the endoscopy suite at New York Presbyterian. And today morning, the head nurse says to me, where did all the wipes go? Like, it's gone. Someone stole all the wipes and
The disinfecting wipes.
and yes, and the masks too. So she handed us each one mask and she says, this is yours for the day. Don't lose it. Like, that's it. We're just like rationed, because I actually went on Amazon, which I think that's where it went, on the black market, and it's at $25 or $40 at this point. I don't know, guys.
A mask.
A mask, like those like 10 for $1 masks where they used to sell 10
And
for
by the
$1.
way, they don't protect you, so don't even think you're safe if you're wearing them.
Right. I think basic hand hygiene, basic universal precautions, protecting yourself with tissues when you're trying to cough into your face, or, you know, if you don't have a tissue, use your elbow, not your fingers, and washing. I mean, all these like common sense things. Like going to the store and stocking up on pasta. I don't know. For me, I'm like,
I think, okay,
don't
the
get
only
it.
time you're going to have that pasta come into hand is if you're exposed to somebody that had coronavirus, right?
yeah, and you have to be in isolation.
And you need to be quarantined, which means they will not let you come out of your house for 2 weeks. And if you do, it's considered a violation in which you're going to get a fine for. And you're going to get a ticket for coming
I'm
out
gonna
of your
ask
house.
Yocheved to come to my house with
I
the
will make
pasta
sure I
that she
shop it
bought,
for you. So
because
in that case, I would suggest
bother
having
me.
extra stuff in your
I bought
house.
potatoes and onions, which will expire soon.
But let me make it very, very clear to summarize. The only people who really would be at risk of getting very sick from coronavirus
okay.
are those that already have a respiratory condition.
Or-
so
or they're
anybody
immunocompromised.
who has COPD, who has asthma, who is on chemotherapy, who has cancer, those patients, we want them to be careful with.
Also the elderly and the
Because
the
they're
pediatrics.
immunocompromised.
Right.
So far, luckily, we have not really seen any
God. Peds.
pediatric cases.
pediatric.
So if you know somebody who is in that category,
Right.
I would suggest to not fly anywhere, to try to avoid any big gatherings. But everyone else
it's
is
causing
okay.
too much mayhem and fear, I think. It's so the other day, actually today, my coworker told me this. Listen to this. He's a radiology technician, okay? This is how crazy things have gotten. He said, upstairs, there's an Asian radiology tech. And I feel really bad for the Asians, okay? Because they're getting all the bad rap now. So he was wearing a mask, the Asian, on the floor. And he says, okay, a woman passed him by, saw he was Asian and wearing a mask, covered her face because she was afraid. Like, she was covering her face as she was passing him by and staring at him. And then as she walked away, she uncovered it. This is what's going on.
Well, I had a patient
acting like crazy.
refusing to go to Main Street Radiology, which is in Flushing, for a test because they said, no, we can't go there. There's too many Chinese people that work there, so we're going to get sick from it.
It's really terrible.
It's very racist.
It's
Terrible.
It's crazy.
It's terrible what's going on, especially now. It's actually...
Use your brains,
We
guys.
have to... Let's just be very, very... let's calm down. It's really not that bad. It is... We might have even had coronavirus without even knowing it.
I hope I did have coronavirus because that means I'm protected.
Right. So you may not even
I can
know...
just walk around without a mask and not worry about the shortage of masks.
You had it. So the point is, in most cases, you might have it, you might get sick from it, and then it's going to go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's self-limiting in many cases.
So
we only hear about the extreme
Don't panic.
Yeah.
I hear that we're told not to kiss the mezuzah right now. Okay, I mean, I understand why.
I don't know. I thought you're supposed to lick the mezuzah.
I'm not sure who's doing what anymore, but at the same time, I'm not sure. I'm sure the rabbis are protecting us, and I get it. And I know there's 100,000 people in Israel right now which are quarantined.
Really?
Yes.
I don't watch the news. Here's another thing. Another tip from me, Esther, inspired person. Don't overwhelm yourself with things you have no control over. You can't control what's happening on the other side of the world. What you can control is what you absorb. If you're going to sit and watch TV that's like all about the crazy things that are happening in the world, and you've done your part, you wear your gloves, you bought all the sanitary wipes, or you stole some at my hospital. I mean, doesn't matter at what point what you did, but you're protected as much as you can. At this point, just shut down the TV, spend some time with your family, because really that's what you really want, right? You're afraid you're gonna die, God forbid, not you, but I'm saying like the fear with corona is you're afraid, like it's mortality.
Well, you know what I always tell? I always tell
spend
my
time with the people
patients
you love.
who are afraid they're gonna die from any disease, right?
What?
When you walk outside in the street, who knows if the car is going to hit you?
Don't
if you're
scare
going to
the
get into
people
a
now.
car
They're going to be
accident
afraid to
driving
cross the
home.
street.
I mean, we're all going to eventually go. Nobody's here to stay forever. And if we're going to be worried coming out of our houses, then we should be worried staying in our houses.
This is true.
Okay?
It's literally robbing us to enjoy what we have.
Right.
We can't enjoy, like I'm enjoying Yochevet's beautiful hair and she looks, and she smells amazing, guys.
You're so funny.
I have a very creepy gift, which is also a curse. My sense of smell. It can be a blessing, but in this case it is. I'm saying like I enjoy people, like the fact that we can engage, the fact that I have her in my life.
Aww.
Really.
So seriously,
so
I really was very
grateful.
happy to come here today. It wasn't easy on a Thursday night. As you all know, we're all busy preparing for Shabbat. Luckily, I was invited for Shabbat, so I had it a little bit easier. So
I thought you came all this way even though you had to... So you're saying you wouldn't have come if you had to cook? I'm not that important to you.
Well, late at night, I would make time for you. But I hope this was helpful. I found it to be very helpful.
This was therapeutic for me.
And for me.
I put on my own news. When I can't listen to the Corona news, I just talk about Corona like, listen, it's going to be okay. Just relax. Have some alcohol available to rub, to drink, whatever works for you.
The drink will kill some viruses too.
It works both ways. I'm joking. I don't advocate alcoholism, but I'm just saying, like, have control over just your energy. You know what I mean? Like, just bring the good vibes into your life. Corona is literally killing everybody except Food Town. When I went to Food Town today, and I heard Costco has this too.
Costco.
And BJ's.
Costco.
Basically, what the coronavirus is for the supermarkets is what Valentine's Day is for the flower shops.
But you know what's ironic?
Like everybody's shopping.
I have no more bags. Now is the time we need the bags to stock up. But they're not giving you any more shopping bags. So you're going to bring your own bags and shop.
You should come to Food Town on Parsons. They gave me a ton of bags. I don't think they're familiar with the laws now.
I don't know, but some stores I had to go in there with my own bags.
I have bags for you.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I care about you. I'll give you like, I don't know, 2, 3. It might cost you a few dollars because everything is under ration now. Everything is bartering.
So, tip, if you're going to the store, bring your own bag in case they don't have a bag for you.
Right. Another tip, don't be afraid of people, especially like, be kind and friendly. People need that. Everybody's like so tense.
And if you really want to scare someone and you start coughing in the
If you
middle
don't
of the
like
line.
somebody, just cough on
No,
them.
and you know what you
Don't do
say?
that.
When did you just come back from China? Wasn't it a week ago? And everybody's gonna leave, and you'll be the first one in
It's
line.
really bad. So, but thankfully, I want to just say, if we had to take on any challenge, we are blessed to have our challenge. There are people right now who are quarantined, and there are people right now who really are sick. We have to be grateful for the moments that we have to celebrate with our family, the weekends, the blessings of like the simple things, you know, because Rabbi Nachman says, and I will end with this. In this book, Rabbi Nachman says, a person walks on a very narrow bridge. The important thing is not to be afraid.
And I will add my own commentary. Remember this. Everything will be okay at the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
I feel like this is going to be on your plaque. Like,
I love that
right?
phrase very, very much. And I think if we all go by that, and we're having the most difficult time, and we don't know how we're going to ever go through this difficult time, stop for a moment and tell yourself, everything will be okay at the end. Right now, it's not okay. But that's because it's not the end. And at the end, when you write your own book, and you're writing the book from chapter to chapter, the last chapter in the book is going to tell your whole story. So there will be a time, maybe it's in a day, in a month, in a year, in 2 years, when you're going to step up and you're going to share with others your challenges, how you overcame them, and then you will realize how much strength you're giving someone else because of what you went through. And only when you give that other person the strength will you be able to say, I'm fully healed from my own challenge.
Right. I love that. Thank you, Yocheved. And with that, we're going to close out. I hope you have a wonderful night. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sanitary.
Thank you for watching.
And have a blessed night.
Bye.
Stay positive. Bye.